Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week we are heading over to Missouri to see what's poppin' over in the Midwest.
That's right.
Yep.
Our old stomping grounds.
That's right. Will and I lived in Missouri from 1997 to the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
The year 2000. We moved to New Jersey.
William and Kristen will move from Missouri in the year 2000. Yeah. This is an interesting one because we talk a lot about the fact that we grew up in the woods of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we live in New Jersey now and have for a very long time.
Yeah.
Obviously we've lived in New Jersey for 22 years then, almost 23.
Yep.
But there is that 3-year stint
Yeah.
that we did, hard time,
Yeah.
in Missouri.
Yep. We lived in a suburb of St. Louis.
Called Wildwood.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, how wild it was.
Yes.
I saw some hairy, scary stuff.
Oh, God, I did too.
Yeah.
I had some wild... Wildwood was wild.
Bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I encountered, it was the first time that I ever smoked a cigarette.
Uh-huh.
I was like 11 years old.
Yep.
There's a lot of that kind of shenanigans
Yep.
at a very young age.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So not to get trapped in the deep dark hole
Yeah.
of the rough part of our childhood.
Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah, for sure. But this is also an era where I feel like I want to just state for the record, not that we didn't before, but I felt like this was an era where we very distinctly started to bond as a brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, at least that's how I recall it. As I remember, we would certainly do all the stuff that siblings do. We would fight and
Yeah.
we would argue and stuff like that. But I also remember this being a period of time in our life where, like, we would just do, like, wacky stuff and prank each other.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think that moving a couple of times when we were young fortified our relationship to a certain extent.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
But I also remember nights where you snuck out with your friends, and then
Yep.
I had my friends over as well, and we were trying to investigate where you had gone.
Yeah.
And so by that point, literally every child in the house had snuck out while mom and dad were, like, sleeping.
Yeah.
Climbing up the hill. I remember I climbed up the steep hill where we lived to try to figure out where you guys were. There was a house that was being constructed at the top of the hill.
Yep.
And I remember getting close enough to almost go into this empty, it was just exposed plywood
Yeah.
skeleton of a house.
Yes.
And I think we talked ourselves out of going in because it had gone
Good.
it had gone too far. We were
Good.
too scared.
Yeah.
But I assumed
Very
that
glad.
you must have been in there.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's shenanigans abound as young teens
Definitely.
in Missouri.
Definitely.
Also, one time Kristen put dog poop on my windowsill to prank me.
You know, things like this. Like I
Yeah.
said, our times in Wildwood were wild.
I smelled a ghost. I'll just put it that way.
That's right.
Kristen was tasked with cleaning up dog poop in the yard, and I had done something to
offend
transgress. Kristen, I think you, like, perfected your mode of revenge
Yeah.
in Missouri.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I did, like, hone that to a sharp point.
It was psychological.
Yeah, it was psychological
grotesque.
warfare. It was
Feces were involved.
it was brother on sister, excuse me, sister on brother terrorism.
It was.
Yeah.
We would do these. Each of us had to, like, clean the kitchen X number of nights.
Yeah,
a
we'd
week,
like have
whatever.
like designated chores like for the nights of the week.
Became a bartering system. So I'd be like, Kristen,
Intense.
I will clean the kitchen every night for a month if you do XYZ, whatever the hell the thing was.
Yep.
Somehow I had transgressed in some way, shape, or form, and Kristen came at me one day and she goes, "No, you know what? I'm going to get back at you. You're not going to know it was me, but someday something's going to happen to you, and it will have been because I did it to you. You don't know." And it scared me. So I remember just being like, "I'll clean the kitchen
I'll
for
do anything.
50 years if you just don't do whatever it is." I was living with this, like, sword
This
of
fear.
Damocles hanging over my head that Kristen's machinations were going to somehow destroy my life, my prosperity, my fortune.
And it was really, I think my only idea, it was all entirely poop based. It would be that I would like hide poop somewhere in Will's room, later his car. This didn't happen, by the way.
Car.
Yeah, like when you were older. Or
Oh,
something.
you were waiting until I was
Yeah.
17 or 18.
This was the long game.
Thank God we moved.
I know. It didn't happen, but my plan was that I was going to hide poop somewhere that Will couldn't find,
Any
and yet
excuse.
would still have an olfactory impact
Right.
that would drive him absolutely nuts and
Well,
not be
my
able to find the
room-
source.
My room smells, and I can't find
Right.
it.
That's what.
But there is a lumpy sock under my bed. I wonder. I couldn't possibly be that.
Right.
This devious psychopath.
Right. But I knew that I didn't even need to really do it because it was just the idea
Right.
that's so torturous. But
Yes.
if push were to come to shove, that was what I thought I would do.
Planted a seed in my mind. Nugget.
Yeah.
You planted a nugget in my mind.
And in the meantime,
A festering.
I put some on your windowsill.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did. That was pretty funny. I think even that one, I was young, but I could recognize like this is pretty hilarious. This is like really crazy. She just like reached the shovel out and tipped it. It's like
The pooper scooper, like delicately.
yeah,
Yep.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty good stuff.
Pretty cool, bro.
You got me good.
Yeah.
But I do just for some while we're in like a personal recollection of our time there story. I do have a couple of things that scared me
Yeah.
while I was there. Really, maybe this is like a big one, we'll call it, because it sort of encompassed everything. So right next to our house at the time, there was a big empty lot,
Yeah.
but in our backyard and to the side. It was like maybe they were trying to sell the land and nobody had bought it. So it was this overrun with weeds field. Sometimes you would find like box turtles there in the summer or something
Yeah.
like that. Whatever season box turtles come out in.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I remember, and I was embarrassed of it for a long time, honestly. I was playing in the backyard, just hanging out, whatever. Heated up a DiGiorno. Maybe ordered from Mr. Good Sense.
Oh man.
Or
the
I was
dream.
having a chocolate custard from whatever.
Ted Drew's.
From Ted Drew's. These are all local.
Yeah.
Things except for DiGiorno. That's
Maybe you got some St. Louis style pizza from Little Nemo's.
true. Or had some steak.
Nemo's?
I
Is
think
that
that's
what it
right.
was?
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. Maybe had some steak.
Emos, I think, actually,
Is
not
that right?
Nemo.
Little
Yeah.
Emo Phillips. Maybe had some steak and shake.
Maybe. And I helped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we heard a voice shout out. It was a whale. I'm gonna do an impression of it. This is.
Was
how it-
I there?
No.
Oh.
I heard a voice go.
I feel like that's going to be really loud.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what that
Who's the we?
was. Me and a friend
Okay.
from the neighborhood. And we like paused in our tracks. It was like the middle of the day, sun out, shining, clear day.
Guns out.
We heard it again. We heard it again. And I remember there were a couple of times that there were kids in a neighborhood behind us who used to like sometimes shout at us or whatever, just like kids being kids. You see another kid.
Yeah.
It's like a dog barking at another dog. You just
Yeah.
call out whatever. We thought maybe it was kids mocking us. So we shouted back and just went, ah, and just shouted back. But then the more that this voice sort of like cried out, we were like, this sounds like something severely wrong.
Yeah.
This now sounds like somebody in pain.
Yeah.
I felt we ran through that empty lot. And we had to like get down this big hill and get down to this little dead end street, a little cul-de-sac beneath us. And around the cul-de-sac was a house with its garage open. And there was a man on the floor of the garage.
Yeah.
An old man had fallen and cracked the back of his head
Yeah.
on the garage floor. And we did not know what to do. And it was terrifying. It was like you're young enough to like, remember that age where you're young enough that you're kind of scared of old people?
Yeah.
I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of like I was terrified for the guy. I was afraid of the guy.
No, it's so scary. I don't think I remember that the story started that way.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you kind of just like happened upon the scene.
No, we
Oh,
like
man.
followed the sound of wailing
Man.
to triangulate him. And now we're in his house technically because we're in his garage and we're like obviously we have to call 911.
Yeah.
But it felt wrong to somehow go
Like,
into
go
the
in.
man's house. So wasting time in retrospect, we ran all the way back. We had to like climb back up the hill and go back through that empty lot, which took a while
Yeah.
to call 911. And paramedics came, but they came to our house.
Right.
You have to go back out down the roads and loop all the way around to actually get to the guy. So my friend rode in the ambulance because I was new. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to get down there in a car.
Yeah.
But he did. So he rode with them, and I had cops follow me back down the hill to the guy.
Yeah.
And what I remember happening from there was just people eventually told me, like when it was all over and I was back home, somebody said to me, probably mom and dad, who probably talked to the cops from there, were like, he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's still, obviously it stuck with me. It still
Yeah.
sort of horrified me. And
No,
I was never really sure. And, you know, everybody, you know, I hopefully he was okay, but you can only be okay for a time.
Right.
You know? But that was a real scary event. It's one of the things that I think of in addition to, and we, you know, I was joking about it, but literally, like, I do remember, like, being in the backyards and a lot of sneaking. Sneaking. A friend got his mom's cigarettes. He brought his mom's Virginia Slims
Yeah.
to a party, and we all smoked them at
Yeah.
11 years old. Like, it was a lot of that sort of, like, little kid rebellious poking at the limitations of what we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think of that guy and, like, wailing out.
Yeah.
It scared the hell out of me.
No, that's a really, really intense experience.
It was scary. And also the back of our house, it was a ranch style house, much like Doritos.
Right.
The back of the house was almost all windows.
Yeah, it was honestly amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But that was also the first time that I saw Scream, where the
you're
killer
right.
throws a chair through the window and gets in, and I was like, it gave me the distinct feeling that this house is not safe. I've still had dreams about that house because it was both beautiful and I did get the feeling pretty quickly there that somehow it was not secure.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you.
No, no, mine are not for the show.
No good.
Nope.
All right, fair enough.
Will, you suggested that we do this topic. And so I would like to give you the floor. I would like you to tell your stories.
Okay, sure.
More of your stories.
Very well. Well,
and
these
see where it goes.
they're no longer my stories here. These are just
Right.
stories of Missouri, things that I did not know, to be perfectly honest. I just sort of tried to look around for famous haunted places. I stuck specifically to hauntings here. But the first one that I saw in my searches really, like, rings a bell. Zombie Road.
Yeah. Like, I wish I remembered this better. This is a story that would be for the show. I went to Zombie Road.
Okay.
And I really don't remember, except that it was like a fun, scary, with your friends sort of deal. There's a rock that I pass on my way here whenever I come that's, it's like a giant, like, bouldery rock sort of thing that has a bunch of spray paint on it. And over that is, I believe, the number for somebody's house or something. And it always reminds me of Zombie Road. I guess one of the few things that I remember about it was that there was like a giant rock that was spray painted with a bunch of stuff.
Interesting.
And I can tell you what I remember the rumors about Zombie Road being. Like I said, I kind of remember going. To be completely honest, I'm not totally sure what actually happened when I was there versus what the story is and stuff.
That makes sense.
And also, to be honest, I think that I embellished this story when we moved here and I was telling people about it.
Oh, now that's ringing a clear bell because you said that. I think you have brought maybe this concept up on the show before. Zombie Road, the words.
Yeah.
Pinged a memory, but not from Missouri specifically, from you. I think maybe you've told me part of this, but I don't really remember. So
yeah, and I can't really parse out. I know it's silly. But I can't really parse out what actually happened while I was there. What is just like that I remember hearing about it, and what was that I moved to New Jersey and I was new and I like was trying to get in the mix talking to people, and I think that I embellished a story.
I don't think that's weird at all.
But I don't know what's true.
I know. I have
Genuinely.
most of my memories are like that. I started telling people, like, in New Jersey when we moved, I would tell people I don't have a memory of my childhood before like 10.
Yeah.
And it still is mostly true.
Me too. It's a lot of like conceptual stuff that I like know happened, but I don't really remember.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think maybe this is true of everyone, but I never really hear people describe it the way that you and I have talked about it with each other before, where it's like,
I don't know.
like the past feels so almost fake, like a
Yeah,
story
like I
somebody
read a
told
book
me.
about it
Yeah.
or something.
Yes.
So I know it is probably true. But
And
like
I
I
can't
don't
decide
really
if
remember.
that's the every human experience. Like an Alien, I'm talking about, are we having the human experience? But like,
Yeah.
I can't, I'm already so prepared to be like, well, we've also experienced traumas. That like, are we repressing memories or are we distorting things? I can't remember. I do this with kids from my childhood.
Yeah.
I remember when we lived in, maybe it was New Jersey by this point. I would be like, oh, this new friend that I made in New Jersey is the equivalent of this friend that I had in Missouri, who was the equivalent of this friend I had in Connecticut. They're all the same person in a sense.
Yeah.
And the more that I would think things like that, the more I would almost like blur these kids together.
Right, they kind of merge.
I don't know who I knew where. I don't
Yeah.
know anything. My childhood is mush.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have that with like kind of equating people to other people in the timeline, but yeah, it is just like it's like hearsay to me rather than like living in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is the case for you too. Like I said, maybe it's everybody.
Maybe it's everybody
Yeah,
and nobody
yeah.
talks about this.
Maybe.
Or maybe we have gone through some stuff.
I don't know.
And maybe both, by the way.
Yeah.
But the point is, I totally get what you're saying. Also, when you're a kid, you embellish.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know I did it when we moved both times. Like I definitely remember fully making up that our house was haunted in Connecticut.
Hell yeah.
And I said that there was like a lady in my room or something. This is like what I told people in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I know that I did for real go to Zombie Road. I just don't know what's real and what I made up.
Fair enough.
Here's the deal. Here's what I know about Zombie Road. So I remember hearing, like hearsay, whatever, that it was like a long, narrow road where if you drove down, I think that this was for real. I'll stop saying that because it's annoying to be like, I think this was it,
just
but
take
whatever.
for granted that we're not really.
I'm not totally sure. Here's what I think I know about Zombie Road, and some of it may be from reading and some of it may be from experiencing or lying. That it's a long, narrow road that you would drive down and you couldn't, until you got to the end of it, there isn't really a place to do a K-turn or turn all the way around or whatever. And that you drive. And at the end, there is kind of like a clearing area where you could turn around, and there's a mill that's at the end there.
Okay.
And something bad happened in the mill, like, back in the day. And also like, like Satanists or insert scary people here now meet in the mill and do whatever. And that on the way, there was this big rock painted with like a bunch of, honestly, at the time, I think it was we would say it was satanic symbols and stuff or whatever, because that would be like the ultimate scary person for, 20 years ago or whatever, or more than 20 years ago. So
That's just somebody who's like trying to prove a point.
Yeah, right. Like that's not
Satanist,
really what. So yeah, like a rock painted with a bunch of satanic symbols, and that there was a tree with a ton of knives hanging from the tree.
Oh, cool. Blackwood.
Yeah.
Spooky trees.
Yeah, and that there were people, like, if you drove down, who might come out and be like knocking on your car and like messing with you and stuff like that.
Ah, yes. Okay. Some of what you're saying lines up with some photos that I've seen. I did not see the knife tree, but the idea of it being a small road, I'm not sure if it's drivable, but I've also heard that like the accounts that I'll give you were from a time where it was not paved. Yeah. It has since been paved and sort of beautified. But it used to certainly be like a very tight corridor, yeah. And
it was very like the Missouri version of Weird New Jersey. Like that was something that like kids talked about or whatever, and it would be like a cool thing to go there, and it's like scary to do.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about Missouri also for us is like we went from living in the woods, like a fairly like remote, surrounded by trees, to being surrounded by a lot of farmland. So we were in another.
Also a lot of like developments.
Yeah, it was up and coming.
Yeah.
So there was still wilderness to be cleared out and tamed, and there was a lot of open space.
Yeah.
So we sort of moved from more remote-ish to slightly less remote before we finally come to New Jersey, and we're like in the suburbs.
Yeah.
Like conventional suburbs. But So yeah, this like woodsy thing followed us for like our whole life to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of what you're saying is true, and the idea of like people coming out and touching your car and stuff, that almost feels evocative of like Clinton Road in New Jersey as well, like famous spooky roads where that sort of
Yeah.
thing happens.
Well, I'm thinking about people like enveloping your car from both
Oh.
sides.
Oh, like zombies.
Yeah.
Literally like
Yes.
Zombie Road is
Yes.
a million zombies coming out to.
That kind of vibe. Yeah.
Gotcha. So here's my research on Zombie Road, and I've got a bunch of sources here. Find them on gttpod.com in the show notes for the show. This first part of the story is from onlyinyourstate.com. And basically, according to this article and other sources about Zombie Road is haunted by just about everything.
Yeah.
Every kind of ghost you can imagine is there. It seems like this place is so populated with the dead that it'd be weirder to go there and not see a ghost.
Yeah.
There's everything here. Here's a quote from onlyinyourstate.com. The stories associated with the old roadway nicknamed Zombie Road in Missouri are many. Located outside of St. Louis, the original name of the road was Lawler Ford Road, and it was constructed in the late 1860s. It was originally built to gain access to the Merrimack River and the railroad tracks located alongside. There are photos of these, they're like disused railroad tracks. So they're technically still in there, but they're almost like at ground level. Like the top of the rail is just part of the ground. Like it's so like well trod over and stuff. It makes it kind of spooky to see like the remnants of a railroad, which is relatively modern, getting swallowed by the forest.
Definitely. It's going to be unsatisfying, but there's somewhere that I've gone to take a walk here with my friend Sarah that was just a railroad that's kind of consumed, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat looking. But also, because I'm me, it made me think of the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
The 2019, I want to say, Lionsgate Blair Witch game. Bloober team made this game. They say that the Burkitt's Hill, the Black Hills Forest, also had like rail cars and all this stuff in it, all these structures, and there's more than just Rustin Parr's house in that game.
Yeah.
Looking at the Zombie Road here, it felt like that 2019 Blair Witch game. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the beginning of the 20th.
Maybe it's a vortex.
Could be.
It's for everything. It's a hellmouth.
Everything's in there.
Yeah.
Giles is in there taking notes.
Yeah.
At the hellmouth.
He could be very helpful.
He really could. The Ripper knows his stuff. So, sorry.
The Ripper. I know, it's so funny.
That reference really erased the rest of what I was going to say from my memory.
No, we just want to watch Buffy.
I do. I was talking about it the other day. I'm in a Buffy mood right now. But around the early 20th century, there were clubhouses built there. People would go and resort and stuff in these woods and relax and stuff. And then come the 40s, those were turned into year-round housing, and then they were abandoned.
Okay.
So there are all these empty structures there that have been left crumbling. It is like a bunch of Rustin Parr houses in there. Just crumbling, dying houses being eaten by nature. It started being called Zombie Road as early as the 1950s. Now that immediately makes me think Night of the Living Dead, the way we think about zombies changed in the 60s. Zombie meant a different thing in the 50s.
Right.
It wasn't until George Romero said that they are the recently deceased coming back to eat you.
Right.
In the 50s, this would have been...
I'm surprised it'd be common parlance.
Right?
Yeah.
In the 50s, it would have been referring, presumably, this is my editorializing, I guess, it would have been referring to the idea of zombies as sort of like voodoo, mind-wiped type people. These articles go on to say that these woods were also Native American trails, so maybe there are Native American ghosts there. They also say that the soldiers used it during the Civil War, so there are Civil War ghosts there. There are also kid ghosts there.
These are all classic ghosts.
Classic
it must
ghosts.
Be noted.
Yes, these are almost like rote stock ghosts.
Yeah.
Right? They're extras.
All the best kinds.
All the best kinds, I guess. So let's talk more about the name Zombie Road, though. So the article goes on to say, one popular story, and the reason for the name, because what's up in there, zombies? Is that of it got the name because of the zombie killer, they say. A creepy guy who lived in a shack in the woods who would attack young lovers looking for a place to be alone.
Oh.
Which is a very classic urban legend tale.
Certainly.
The kids that go out to be alone and they befall something foul.
Yeah.
But it almost begs more questioning for me. It's called Zombie Road because of the zombie killer.
Right.
Remember, what the hell's the zombie killer?
Yeah, is that real?
What is the deal with that? So, here's what I've got along those lines from theparanormalguide.com. Some say it's called Zombie Road. There are multiple reasons is the short answer for Zombie Road, which means no one really knows.
Yeah.
I think. Whatever the original one is, it's now
Yeah.
a shell game with these other potential explanations of the name Zombie Road.
Right.
So, some say it's called Zombie Road because of the railroad workers who once worked there and would rise from their graves at time to roam about.
Okay.
So they were zombies. But again, zombies weren't the recently dead. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Some insist that they have heard old-time music, seen anomalous moving lights, and other ghostly sightings from a forgotten era. Another tale tells of a patient nicknamed Zombie who escaped from a nearby mental facility, never to be seen again. His blood-soaked gown was later found lying upon the old road, later named after him. That is vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. It sounds very much like of the stock, like, escaped mental patient. Oh.
They all seem like very classic versions of what their stories are.
They do. But I'll do some mental backflips real quick. First of all, escaped mental patients probably need a lot of help.
Yeah.
Probably be caring for these people.
Certainly.
But certainly it's been the stock scary thing forever.
Yeah.
Zombie referring to somebody who has been like lobotomized or something like that is what calls to mind for me.
Or
that they
like-
could have been calling that patient zombie, not in the George Romero sense because it didn't exist yet.
Right. There's like
but in the
nothing
voodoo
behind
sense-
the eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest sense.
Right.
That actually makes an interest. And again, I'm doing some heavy lifting to help.
No,
with
but
it,
no, I can see it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But if you heard that, you'd be like, yeah, I get that.
Exactly. There have been some deaths in these woods. During the 1960s, a couple in their late teens were on top of the bluffs overlooking the road below. The male somehow lost footing and during the fall caught his face in the fork of a small tree.
Oh my God.
His face and scalp remained in the tree while the rest of him fell to his death upon the road below. So he caught his face on a tree.
Wait, and he tripped and fell, and that's how this happened? How did this happen?
Yeah, he lost his footing
Oh my
on
God.
the bluffs. Tripped and fell, and his face got stuck in the
This
tree.
is legend.
I mean,
Or fact.
they're saying it is fact, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have anyone's names or an article.
Right, right.
So, you know,
My Lord.
yeah, exactly. That's all you can really say to that kind of thing, I guess. Good God. Good golly. During the 1990s, a mother and her 5-year-old child were crossing a bridge when an oncoming train came their way. The mother's last action was pushing her 5-year-old child off the bridge. The engineer was able to stop the train and save the child. Although the mother died, this is one of the happiest endings to a story this area will provide.
Yeah.
Now that's also kind of a classic. Not the you're walking on a train track and a train. Well, actually, that kind of is.
Yeah.
You've seen
train
that
track,
before, where
yeah.
like somebody's walking on the train tracks and the train comes and they can't get off. But they don't say like the mother's foot was stuck. She was
Right.
able to get her child out of the way, but she stayed there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. But we've got another explanation of that name because of an earlier death. This is from 1001 Eagle. Wait. What is this? 1000
Oh, my favorite website, 1001 Eagle.
1001 theeagle.com.
Oh, okay. This is a radio
It's a
station.
radio
Yeah.
station.
Radio stations are excellent sources, by the way. I've come across
Yeah.
a lot of radio station like blogs, basically about local stuff.
They've got it. They cover everything.
Yep,
it's great.
Awesome.
Is there any truth to the stories behind the name? They ask. The answer by somebody is the amazing answer is yes. Specifically, the story of someone hit by a train really happened to Della Hamilton McCullough. Only in your state confirms that this was a judge in 1876 who was struck and killed by a train, with the resulting injuries so gruesome the remains were like a zombie.
What?
That is when the
Remains were
legend.
like a zombie.
That is when the legend of the ghost of someone being hit by a train lurking in the woods began. 1876, the remains looked like a zombie.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have called that a zombie in 1876.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's just a garbling up of all this stuff.
Which is
like it's fine.
I'm going to say not only is it fine,
Yeah.
I love it.
It's what you want.
I don't know what's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's false. It's all spooky and entertaining.
Yeah.
It's local lore.
Right.
Hyper local lore.
Yeah, that's all kind of like mixed together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then kids move there in the late 90s and the kids who live there tell them about it and they go see it.
Totally.
Right? And then that becomes a hazy memory. Like this is how this all is meant to function.
Definitely.
We're not meant to know.
Yeah.
Right? So I've got some other... Oh, this was very fun. I love this. I found one more source talking about Zombie Road. I mean, there are a bunch.
Yeah.
But I loved this particular source. I'll start with this. A quote from this other article I found. Indeed, there are other figures lurking on Zombie Road. St. Louis County police officers...
Go on.
This information comes from officer.com. This
That's
year
really
alone,
funny.
police have written at least 83 tickets for late night trespassing, and tonight will probably bring more Halloween-minded ghost hunters. Scofflaws usually are fined $300, plus $26.50 in court costs.
I'm glad I got away scot-free.
Said Pouty Royst, Wildwood's
Pouty?
Patty. Did I say Pouty?
I thought so.
I'm Pouty Royst. Pouty. Pouty is a great first name.
Yeah, it is.
Kristen, some sort of like an
Pouty.
old store. I'm Pouty.
Yeah.
Oh, buck up, Pouty.
That's awesome.
I'm Pouty. I'll be taking you for your cattle rustling.
That's so funny.
The tickets evidently say Zombie Road on them,
Oh, nice.
which is enough to be like $300 plus the court fines, $326.50.
Yeah, maybe we need to go pop down there and linger around a bit.
This is like what rich people say, where
Yeah.
they're like, you don't get fined for parking in an illegal spot. It costs this much to park there because of
Right.
the fine or whatever.
Right.
I want that
It's, like,
Zombie
worth
Road.
it, yeah.
It is. So here are some Reddit conversations, and I'll knock it off. It was
No, William, nothing to knock off. I'm all in.
all right. So this first, these are great. I found a Reddit thread of people talking about this. Cake Shammert said this. I went back in high school, probably around 2008. We walked down until we ran into what appeared to be a miniature railroad track. Once we got there, all of our flashlights started to flicker, so we decided to head back. Once we got kind of close to the entrance, we passed two older ladies walking down the path with gas lanterns. This was at like 1 a.m. I can't recall if this actually happened. It's like you.
Yeah, basically. That's funny.
Or if it was our imagination after the fact. See, everybody does what
Yeah.
we do. Yeah. But they seemed to disappear.
Well, they're not saying I'm not sure whether I lied about this and it got
Oh.
cemented in my psyche, or if it was my imagination after the fact.
But memory is a form of lying a lot of the time. You're
yeah,
not literally remembering the event. You're like remembering how you felt about an event. You're remembering the last time you
Certainly.
remembered an event. Memory
Yeah.
is, it's all the same thing. We turned around expecting to still see them, and they just weren't there. All I remember about the location is the entrance was in the parking lot of some school. And then here's another comment. Walked down that road for like 10 minutes, and cops were waiting at the top to give us a trespassing ticket. They have some kind of motion sensor that will alert them. It's just a money printing road for cops, so don't trespass. That was posted by DJ Bong Rip. DJ Bong Rip walked in there for 10 minutes.
It's funny if you clicked on that profile and saw what other comments they were, and DJ Bonrick like now lives in New Jersey and has comments on like the New Brunswick thing or whatever.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
This is Kristen.
I went to, oh my god. If I clicked on DJ Bong Rip and it's like, I went to the grave of Mary Ellis with my brother. I'm like, why haven't you told me about this, DJ Bong Rip? You're DJ Bong Rip? Yeah. It's great. It's a great name. But they have a motion alert in there, and then the cops just show up and stand there waiting like, well.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Standing there with their ticket, their branded ticket for Zombie
Getting a little
Road.
paycheck.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not going to presume to know exactly the inner workings of police departments and how all this happens, but I don't think it's quite as cut and dry as sometimes people say. Like, it's not like the cops get the money from that ticket. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know. I have heard urban legends about cops. Maybe they're true. I don't know. Like the quota thing, right? Like you got to get X number of tickets out
I
there.
think that's not true. I'm sure it varies state by state, but from my understanding, at least for New Jersey, was that like it's not really a thing. Like there's kind of a number that's like, it would be average that this amount of people are probably like screwing up per month.
Yeah, some sort of a statistical.
Yeah, but I don't think that there's something that get penalized for not hitting. I have no idea, but I just think it's not quite as simple sometimes as people being like, oh, cops are just printing money by handing out tickets down there. Like, they don't get the money.
They don't get to
ticket.
keep that money.
They're like not incentivized. They don't get paid more if they like give out more tickets.
Boys, this pizza's courtesy of DJ Bong Rip.
I just don't think so.
Tonight we dine like kings.
Because the motion sensor was like pinging a lot.
Yeah, exactly. They're at the station.
Just
and
waiting.
then the lights start blaring and someone goes, "We got one!" They rush in their cop cars to Zombie Road because DJ Bong Rip is going for another pipe and a crepe. Bong and a blintz.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So is that Zombie Road?
That's Zombie Road.
That's amazing.
That's my recollection of Zombie Road.
It's so
my
delightful.
research on Zombie Road.
Now, Will, you have a second story for us. We need to kind of talk about ourselves for a moment.
Yeah, we do.
But I would like to invite you to keep going.
Should I just keep going?
If you would like to.
All right, let's. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be weird if
all
I
right.
just went. No, can we just sit quietly for a while?
Well, no, you could. I have things too, but like,
we just rest?
it seems like you found some stuff, and I can
did.
save my stuff for another day. So.
Oh, you think so? Have I gone massively too long?
Well, we were also just talking, so
That's
it's
true,
not
that
all
is
you
true,
or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're not that far from an hour, so.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. So before we go any further and hear Will's second story, let us tell you a little story about a place where you can help support your friends over here at Guides the Unknown.
A little town.
A little town called patreon.com/GTTUpod, and we have a quota. And
We do.
We need to hit it. So we need to, to come in there and help us out.
It's a money-making trap.
Yeah, that's right.
It is.
It truly is. We're terrible about hiding it.
Yes.
There are a number of different tiers over there that you can choose from to figure out whatever is most comfortable for you. And we have up to weekly bonus episodes that you get in return as a thank you. We actually have a second podcast only for patrons called the Netherworld Dispatch that comes out every Monday, where we do what we're doing here, but more of it. We're still always talking about things that are scary, mysterious, horror movies, whatever, but sometimes it takes a different form.
And sometimes it takes a while. Evil never dies. It just changes shape, Kristen.
That's right.
And this past Monday, Kristen and I went back out into the world. This is something that we like doing, and Patreon gets a little wild sometimes.
Yeah.
So this past Monday's episode, Kristen and I get in the car and we go to McDonald's.
That's right,
There
because...
have been the heavily publicized buckets are back.
Yep.
With a ghost's face on it.
Right, exactly.
Gotta have it.
We had to get it, so we got Happy Meals so that we could get our hands on those buckets.
And they were mean to us.
Yeah, no, they were quite rude twice, so it was
Twice.
unmistakable.
Yeah.
We couldn't just be like, oh, we're just nuts. No, it was
No, we get
pretty clear.
yeah, we get shut down by McDonald's on our show. You can hear it.
Brutally rebuffed.
It's great.
And then we go to Spirit Halloween, pop around there, and
We
then
look at my house decorations.
that's what I was about to say. Will's now award-winning house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had decorated our house for Halloween. I wrote a little poem that is on the steps.
Yep.
And we won a little town contest, and they gave me a ribbon that said "Most Original Costume."
Yeah.
So we pinned it to Zoe, who was dressed like Cookie Monster.
Yep.
Even though we saw at least one other Cookie Monster.
That's okay.
It was wonderful.
She put her spin on it.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
We show off the decorations in there, and in the show you'll hear me be like, I don't know if I'm gonna win. Now you can enjoy
I
the
knew
dramatic
you were gonna
irony.
win.
I won.
Yep.
I won.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. The house is so sweet. And as always with all of our shows, there's a video version as well. So you can listen and we'll describe everything, but you can also watch it. And the links to that are going to be on Patreon. They are now on patreon.com/GTTUpod.
Yeah, that one's waiting for you.
Yep.
This coming Monday, we're going to be going back into Unsolved Mysteries. We literally watch clips and talk about a segment of one of the shows.
Yeah.
So like the Patreon is we put a good amount of effort into the Patreon. I hope you enjoy it. It's a money making trap, but it literally more than doubles Guide to the Unknown.
Yes.
If you just enjoy the usual Friday episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also just want to say I have had a pretty productive month of making stuff up.
Big time.
I got a few stories out there, and guess who's in one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Chrissy.
Yep, sure am.
I wrote an audio drama, a short one. It's like maybe around 10 minutes long.
Yep.
But it's a little Halloween story. I know that we're past Halloween, but come on, it's Guide to the Unknown. Halloween's not over.
All year.
It doesn't die. It's just waiting.
Yeah.
So go check that out. I call it The Phantom. We released it on the Guide to the Unknown feed, so maybe you've already heard it. I hope that you enjoyed it. Chrissy is fantastic in it.
Thank you.
Wonderful, playing Kathleen, a name inspired by her mommy.
That's right.
I also wrote a story for Chelsea Weber-Smith on the podcast American Hysteria. Chelsea asked me if I'd have any interest in contributing a story to a variety show idea they were doing. I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So you can hear a story I wrote over there about contextualizing Chelsea's show as a tool for causing mayhem, which is fun. Chelsea on the show goes like, I've been afraid of something like this happening. Thank you for manifesting my fear.
Yeah, right.
It's fun. And I was surprised to wake up today as of this recording and find out that the podcast Nighty Night with Rabia Chaudhry posted a story that I had written for them a good while ago. It's out there now.
Nice.
It's a story that I remember being like really happy with, so I hope people enjoy that as well. Bunch of stories out there. The audio drama with Chrissy, by the way, I wrote in front of a live audience on themythtraveler.com. So consider backing me there. And not only will you keep up to date with like little projects that I'm working on the sides and stuff, but maybe you can join me for an actual creative endeavor.
Yeah, totally.
So check that out.
And he inserted some names into the audio drama of people who help support him over there.
That
so
is
just
very
saying,
true. Yeah.
you could hear yourself
That's
pop
fun.
up somewhere.
There's even a voice at the end. Everybody goes, everybody signs up by going, Happy Halloween. I took voices from everybody.
Yeah.
And so we all say Happy Halloween together. And one of them is from dear supporter Dorian.
Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it's very fun. So check all that out, themythtraveler.com and patreon.com/GTTUpod. I know it's a lot, but really, honestly, do what's the most comfortable. The thing that we appreciate the most is that you just enjoy hanging out with us and enjoy the show.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about another spooky place from Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'm going to talk to you about Lemp Mansion.
What a beautiful name.
It's glorious. This is part
Rolls
of the
right off the tongue.
part of the reason I picked
Lump.
it. Straight up.
Yeah.
It sounds like lump.
Yeah.
I live in Lump. I have bad news for you.
I moved to Lump.
I moved to Lump. But evidently it is one of the most haunted places of all time. In fact, what is this? KSDK.com says that Life magazine once called it one of the 10 most haunted places in America.
Oh, awesome. I actually, we were just I should mention when you join our Patreon, you also get access to our private Discord. And in the Discord, we were just talking about how fun those Life magazines are that kind of like compile, the X number of most scary places in the world. So that is fun to hear.
Actually, that also just reminded me, before we get too far from the midsection of the show,
Yeah.
Guide to the Unknown was ranked in lifehacker.com's top spooky podcast to listen to.
Yep. Super cool.
Which was wonderful to see.
It was a delight.
I was pumped about it.
Yeah, me too.
I was pumped about it. But so, Lemp Mansion is evidently one of the most haunted places. But why? They say, quote, it's because of the hauntings and the suicides.
Oh, all right. That'll do it.
That'll do it. 5 on Your Side, that's this like news channel, KDSK, spoke with Betsy Burnett Bellinger, the, quote, official paranormal investigator and historian for the Lemp Mansion.
Nice.
You can be the official paranormal investigator.
That's pretty awesome.
You have like an office and a desk, and you're like, taking leads. You have like a press ticket in your hand, I guess. I don't know what you do. Quote, the Lemp family was the premier family in the St. Louis area starting in the 1830s. There was a gentleman by the name of Adam Lemp who came from Germany and started the whole thing. He has a grocery business and eventually went into a brewery that he called the Western Brewing Company. And the Western Brewing Company was located where the Gateway Arch is.
Oh, okay.
St. Louis's claim to fame.
Yeah.
The gateway to the West, a gigantic archway. Have you ever been up in it?
I think I have, but I don't really remember. How about you?
They put you in like a tiny little egg.
Yeah.
and
Right.
climbs up. It's like Dr. Evil when he escapes at the
I
beginning
know.
of Austin Powers.
I honestly kind of think I haven't, but I've just heard about it.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, I know that doesn't sound enjoyable to me.
Scared me.
Yeah.
So this brewing company, Lemp, Western Brewing Company by Adam Lemp, was one of the top brewing companies in the country. Top 10 in the country. Top 20 in the entire world. The known universe.
How did he get it? I get. Did Anheuser-Busch end up smushing him? Budweiser?
Oh, Anheuser Smush?
Yeah, because Budweiser is like a St. Louis thing.
Is that right?
Or Anheuser-Busch. It's the same thing, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Two Bushes? Wait, and Budweiser and Bush. Those are two different words. Never mind. Thought they were the same word for a second.
Well, there's the buh.
Buh.
Bleh.
All I heard was buh.
Yeah.
I didn't get the frogs to go wise. Anyway,
Would have filled it in for you.
thank you. Evidently, 3 members of the Lemp family committed suicide in that mansion.
Oh boy.
2 of them in the same room, 18 years apart.
Oh man.
Yeah. In the 1940s, Lemp Mansion became a boarding house, a haunted boarding house.
No.
But what do the ghosts do? Quote, I heard someone walking around the bed, and it wasn't my partner who was there. It kept walking and walking and circling, and it felt like it leaned over me, and just this gut-wrenching moan.
Oh my God. For it to lean over you and
Lean over
moan?
you.
Because it'd be scary enough if, you hear that moaning in your room or whatever, but
Right.
to feel like something is coming toward you, leaning over.
Yeah.
So if something's leaning over you, you kind of assume that it's looking at you or something, and then it moans in your face.
I know.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, I is right. But that is almost like the only thing that I've really got. It's sort of just like notoriously haunted, and obviously the history of the Lemp family and the horrific, people taking their own lives.
Yeah.
Even in the same room. Like, you can only begin to imagine whatever trauma and heartache could happen in that house.
Yeah.
But that is sort of just the backdropping for then people just going like, it's haunted now.
Right.
So that is, it's almost like a simple ghost story, certainly as compared to Zombie Road.
Yeah.
It's a lot more cut and dry.
For
But I
sure.
do, and I'm harping a lot on language lately, but this phrasing of it was walking and circling the bed, like I think of the impossibility of, and this could just be, using these phrases, whatever. Most people obviously have their bed up against a wall.
Yeah.
Something for most people cannot walk around
Can't
your
circle
bed.
it.
So if you had like your eyes closed in bed and you thought you heard Ryan like
Yeah.
get out of bed and walk around the bed to maybe go to the dresser or something like that, but then you hear him continue walking and now he's behind you.
Oh my God, that's very scary.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
definitely.
impossibility of that. Now, I don't think that that's what's intended by this language, but it is what I'm being very literal. Maybe overly literal, but it is what it made me think.
I don't know I mean, to say circling does make it sound like going all the way around. So
True.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
So, like I said, this is mostly a fairly cut and dry cause, and now we're into the haunted stuff.
Yeah,
So I've
yeah.
got now people's experiences with Lemp Mansion. These are Google reviews.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right. Celeste had this to say. 2 years ago on Google. Wait a minute.
Are you reading?
Yes.
You're just reading like the little kind of like heading.
It's when it was posted was 2 years ago on Google.
2 years ago on
Because it even would have made sense with how it started. Because she starts this by saying, I participated in the ghost tour. So I almost read this as, 2 years ago on
Yeah, I see
Google, I
that.
participated in the ghost tour.
I get that.
What?
Yeah,
I did this on Google. Sorry. That's me.
that's all me.
I'll own that one. I participated in the ghost tour, had lunch and dinner, and stayed the night in the William Lemp Suite for 2 nights. This place is definitely haunted. My friends and I experienced plenty of paranormal activity, such as voices, footsteps, smells.
Uh-oh.
Kristen with a shovel
Yeah, just
outside your window.
gingerly leavings.
I heard a plop, a giggle, and then I smelled something.
And I didn't know where it was coming from. And I had this feeling that I never would.
Yeah. It would plague me forever, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't know who was behind it. But it would be this
Stranger.
13-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, smells, blankets being pulled, etc. One of the nights we stayed, we were in the house completely alone. The history is intriguing, the food was good and reasonably priced, the building itself is beautifully creepy. If you're into the paranormal or even if you're just looking for a place to eat, I'd recommend.
Wait, so
Wear
I'm
appropriate
curious
shoes,
about...
lots of winding stairs, 5 stars.
Well, that's great. I'm surprised to hear that they were there all by themselves. I guess I had... this is all just in my head imagining. I guess I had imagined that it was almost run as a hotel sort of thing if there's a restaurant and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess it's an Airbnb-esque situation where there's also a restaurant operating during the day, but you can sleep there alone at night.
On Google, it was only listed as a restaurant. To the point that I was like, I don't even know
Like,
if
how'd
this is
you
the
stay
right place
there?
I have.
Yeah.
I evidently I did not copy down a particular review. I tried to avoid, some people were just like being like, staff was nasty, this guy said this to me, and you just never know. Maybe it was an off night, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to besmirch the place.
Of course.
But somebody gave it a 1-star review, and it was really weird.
Uh-huh.
They were like, I walked in the front door, checked in, and then they informed me that I can never use that door again.
What?
That door was to be like left alone for some other purpose, and the only way in or out of the building was a steep, winding metal spiral staircase. I was like, that sucks. That sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like the Haunting of Hill House, that big spiral staircase.
How could this be?
You look up and Carla Gugino is smiling at you.
It's very strange.
It's
I guess
bad.
they went in through like a service door or something.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man.
All right. Great food. Very attentive staff. We will be back again. This is a historic haunted mansion. The only issue, but not an issue at all, is trying to have a romantic dinner and having the ghost hunters or the dinner theater participants come join you at your table.
That's extremely invasive.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like it's a very intimate dinner.
Gary, Tanya,
Yeah.
how's the steak? You seen a ghost? You gotta...
Ghost hunters and murder mystery dinner why are they
all together.
Yeah.
You're sitting at a table for 2 and they crowd over. Like they have to like eat their dinner on their knees, but they're sitting at your table with you, just looking at you.
God.
I want to talk to you. I'm going to be in character the whole time.
That reminds me of a wedding that I went to for, again, one of my dear friend Sarah's relatives, where the DJ that they had hired also sang an original composition and walked around to the tables and was very in your face while he was singing this song that he had written. It was very weird.
So, some people must like that.
They must, I know.
Someone somewhere is into that, and we all have to suffer because
Absolutely.
of it. I've been on both sides. I'll just put it that way.
You were Frasier.
I've been paid to annoy you while you eat your dinner.
Yeah, but you weren't like coming up to people. Like people had paid to attend a murder mystery dinner thing.
I also, most people were spared because when the characters sat at the tables, a lot of the time I just disappeared behind the curtain and did not come back.
Oh, I forgot that characters sat at the tables. I don't know if that actually happened to our table.
I think I sat with you.
Oh, okay.
Thereby sort of sparing you,
Yeah,
but it also allowed me to drop the character.
Right.
I didn't sit there and be like, who is Will? I'm Frasier Crane. That would have been crazy if I did that to you and Mom and Dad.
Yeah,
if I stayed in character. What a blip on my weird like performance radar.
I
Isn't
know.
it weird that that's a thing I did
Totally.
for months.
Totally.
A long time.
And a long drive. That was a schlep.
It was a long drive.
That's a hard place to get to. It's at Peddler's Village, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's far from us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was pedaling.
Yeah, you're wheeling, you're dealing, you're peddling and hustling.
On my pedal bike, hoping to make a few cents and some chicken. They made us eat chicken up in the attic. It was great. It was delicious chicken.
That's great.
It was really
worth
good.
it for the chicken.
And Peddler's Village was adorable.
Oh yeah, I know. The reason I know it's far away is because I kind of want to go, but then I'm like, meh.
I want to go. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they make everybody sit at your table. All right. Here's another review. That was 4 out of 5 stars for that.
Mm-hmm.
They took off a star because the ghost hunters eat with you. They eat some of your
Honestly,
food.
fair. If there's not been warning.
There's no warning.
Yeah.
And somebody's
that
like,
sucks.
"You gonna finish your peas?"
And they're like, you're looking at your plate, you just see an EMF meter coming in from the left, like over your spaghetti fork.
Belching and then saying like maybe like a really funny joke like, "Oh, I think I spotted a ghost of my meal."
Yeah. That's not what you're there for.
It's a good joke though.
It is a good joke.
All right, so here's the last review that I have from Tim. Awesome food, awesome service, not a bad price, certified haunted boo scary, 5 out of 5.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
You know what? It seems like he hit all the important points that you want to make sure you get out.
He got all the buzzwords in. Awesome food, awesome service, not a bad price, certified haunted, boo scary.
That's very funny.
And then I did find a Reddit thread that asked a very key question that yields some interesting responses. Do any of you guys have a creepy experience at the Lemp Mansion? So I've got this comment back. Went there for dinner, and when I came out, a homeless guy was straight up pissing on the side of my car.
Oh my God.
I yelled, and
The side of your car. Oh man.
I yelled, and he made eye contact and kept pissing.
That is scary.
I went to his shopping cart and started pissing on it. We stared, eyes locked, pissing on each other's ride.
Okay.
We finished him first and sauntered past each other, eyes locked. He kind of nodded. I returned the nod and we parted ways. Creepy, but I feel he respected my flex.
Is that a copy pasta?
4 out of 5 would piss there again, and it was posted by Stankenstein. The entire thread is stuff like that. Nobody gave a single honest answer. But I for the first sentence, it had me, and I was like,
right.
Screw it.
I wonder if
I'm
it's
putting this in my notes.
I wonder if it's a copy pasta where people like post that everywhere, where like the
Maybe.
first sentence sounds like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting into it," and then you're like,
So
"Damn it,
you're
it's
like,
this again."
Can't possibly be. 4 out of 5 would piss there again. This is
That's really funny.
psychotic.
From Stankenstein.
Yeah, this is where I stopped reading. I'll read you part of one more, and then I was
Okay.
like, I can tell the rest of these are maybe they'll be funny, maybe they'll be like this.
Yeah.
I straight up saw a ghost there. It was at dusk. I was walking down the street, and sure as shrimp, there it was near the side of the house. It was the first time I'd ever seen a Gengar in the wild. Pokemon. I hit it with a raspberry,
I was like,
R-A-Z-Z, and threw an ultimate ball at it. It was a first throw curveball catch. Damn thing was 1 star, so I put it in the gym and kept walking. It's like, got it.
That's
Wait,
so,
this is good.
Reddit is so funny.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah.
Here's a good. That was let's cite our sources. So we had Stankenstein first.
Yep.
That was posted by Used to Be Smart. Here's another one that I just took a gander at and enjoyed. Yeah, my partner and I did the murder mystery dinner, and there was this creepy 50 some. Oh wait, no, I'm reading the wrong one. Here it is. My buddy stayed there for his wedding, and I was really caught off guard by how large the bathroom was in his room. You could easily have fit 3 to 4 people in sleeping bags on the floor. It's that big.
What?
By Baroque works.
That's so weird.
That's just stupid.
Great.
Just
Yeah.
to be stupid.
Yep.
Whatever.
Or no, it could be genuine.
You think
too.
you think that one's genuine?
I think it's not impossible. People think weird things, myself included.
Yeah.
Like that you'd look at a giant bathroom and be like, oh my God, this is so huge. You can fit 3 or 4 people in sleeping bags on the floor. Like that's the unit of measure
Yeah,
that
maybe.
pops into your head.
Well, that was Baroque works. Do you want to give him another one a shot?
Yeah.
This is Swamp Chicken 56. Does that give you high hopes or?
Yes.
Okay. My brother got married there a few years ago, and I saw some of the creepiest unexplained phenomenon of my life. My cousin got hammered and made out with a mannequin.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. All right.
This is where
Swamp
you just
Chicken
sort of
failed
stop
us.
reading.
Right.
You know? But that first one
First one is gold.
First one got me good.
And the Pokemon one.
The Pokemon one. Yeah, the Pokemon one, it turned out to be more fun to say than when I read it and I saw a Gengar and just stopped reading. Saying it out loud,
It works.
it sparked again.
Yeah.
It sparked again. But Stankenstein is all I need.
Is the champion of all.
That's very true.
So we're gonna save my stories for another day.
Okay.
But I did think of something that happened to me while I was there that was scary, and that's like God's the Unknown-y.
Yeah.
So I went to a haunted, I guess you would say, like a haunted trail or whatever, like where you walk and there are haunted things that like pop out at you in the woods or something. When I was there, and I think it was by Mizzou, which is the college, it's like the state of Missouri or Missouri State College or whatever.
Yeah.
I had a friend whose like brother went there, and we went to this haunted house there, and there was like a clown in there, and you know, like I've been super scared of clowns, and I'm sure I was like annoying and 13 to 16 was like making it a thing that I'm scared of clowns. So one of I guess like one of my friends was like, oh, the clown, stay away from Kristen, she's scared of clowns. And so then this clown started going like, Kristen.
Yeah.
And then the other like actors in The Haunt all started doing it and
Kristen,
saying,
Kristen, Kristen.
if only. No, they all just started being like, Kristen, 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 like from like all the corners. And I was like, but it was also kind of awesome.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
I like that. I'm into that.
Yeah, but the environment's all scary and spooky. So I was like, stop. But it was also neat.
I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I have a mini,
Sure.
like a very mini, which is why it didn't really make my full notes. But it is kind of fun. It's just pretty small.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you quickly about Peace Church Cemetery.
Oh, cool.
It's evidently near Joplin, Missouri, and I got this from KHMO radio.com. This essentially boils down to the following. There was a guy in the 1950s named Billy Cook.
Yeah.
This is a true crime case. You can literally, probably true crime shows have covered this guy.
Yeah.
He found his mother dead when he was 5. He was in institutions all the time as a kid. He was released in his early 20s. He kidnapped a family and made them drive him. The way Wikipedia says it, it's like he made them drive at random places for 72 hours across tons of state lines from California back to Missouri, where he had originally grown up. It said that like his dad raised him in an abandoned mine after his mother's death. Like just a horrible, awful life.
Yeah.
To the point that, and recently, talking about the Halloween movies, you and I have talked a lot about nature versus nurture stuff. It sort of informed my feelings looking at this guy. And he's eventually given the death penalty. And there were a lot of people saying, like, no, to some degree, institutions failed this guy, so we also bear the responsibility for his actions. He annihilated his family.
Right.
He killed the entire family. So he's put to death. And his body is... Oh, this was a crazy fact. He escaped after he killed the family, and he escaped to Mexico. And there was no extradition process from Mexico to the United States. So again, according to the Wikipedia for Billy Cook,
Right.
I don't know, they just pushed him across the border to get him out of their country. Like an unofficial, just sort of like give him the boot out.
Yeah.
And there are cops basically standing on the other side of that line.
Oh my God.
And just immediately arrest him. So he's put to death because the Attorney General of the United States of America, he was originally not given the death penalty until the Attorney General goes like, poppycock.
Yeah.
I had a tough childhood. If anybody should be killed, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And that's why he's killed. And his last words were something along the lines of, I hate all your guts and you hate mine.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like he told his father, like, you know, I vow that I will live by the gun. Like,
oh my God.
Tough.
Yeah.
So his body is sent back to Joplin, Missouri to be buried. They do not bury him in the cemetery. This Peace, whatever I said.
Yeah.
Peace Church Cemetery. He's buried just outside the cemetery.
They're always pushing him over a line, this guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. He's buried just outside. Theoretically, just outside of like consecrated ground.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I assume something like that.
So the story goes as follows, and this brings us back to this original article that I mentioned from KHMOradio.com. Some have left this haunted Missouri cemetery with scratches. It is believed that beyond death, this guy is throwing rocks at people from over the fence, pelting people with rocks, and when possible, reaching out to scratch into their skin in a rage or a jealousy, or just still in death, trying to do as much damage as possible. Don't know, but Billy...
Or maybe the scratching is trying to grip onto them to crawl his way over across the line.
Bring me in.
Yeah.
Either way, Billy Cook is buried just outside the cemetery.
That's a really wild story.
Very micro. Right?
Yeah.
There's not, and like...
No, but worthwhile.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. But those are 3 spooky places. 2.5.
Yeah.
Spooky places from our brief old stomping grounds, Missouri.
That's right.
Yeah.
Our stint in Missouri.
I hope we did Missouri Proud, JD. in the
Yes.
chat.
Hope you
any luck.
enjoyed.
There you go, everybody. So
Yeah.
we're going to hold on Chrissy, Missouri for another day.
Yeah. Look, I have a running list of things that I didn't get to on the show that I've been compiling, and we'll just go through them someday.
Yes. Interesting. I'm sorry. I didn't
Don't be
mean
sorry.
for this to be the case.
I offered it up.
I know you did. I know
Yeah.
you did.
No, it's fine.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I had a feeling that you had a lot for us to chew on.
I didn't think I did, but I just had fun sort of like talking about this stuff
Yeah.
and talking about our past.
Well, I
there
guess
a
it was
little
that.
bit
I had
and-
a feeling.
Yeah. Well, anyway, everybody, thank you so much
Yeah.
for hanging out with us. We hope that you had a good time too.
Yep.
Please consider going to gttupod.com to get everything that this show has to offer, all of our old shows, links to all those Patreon shows, links to merch, our PO box, ad stuff,
Yep.
contact stuff. Dive in. And yes, if you want to get straight to the exclusive shows, hit up patreon.com/gttupod. I think you'll find a tier that fits.
Yeah.
And if you're able to, you can double the amount of Guide to the Unknown up on that demon tier and get a new show every single Monday.
That's right.
There is like 80 shows and
80
commentary
something.
tracks and ghost hunts waiting for you the second you sign up.
Yeah.
It'll just instantly become yours.
Yep.
So check all that stuff out. themythtraveler.com for some of my stories, a lot of fiction stuff over there, and sometimes streams, and maybe you can join me for a future project. But I hope that you enjoy all of that. The new Rabia Chaudhry episode. It's called, I called it Vultures. Something about family. Anyway, go look at it.
Yeah, if it's the episode that came out today, you can tell them that. What's the date?
Today is, what? November 1st.
Did it come out today?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the November 1st episode, you can hear Will's story in.
Thank you.
And you can also go to gttupod.com. Actually, you just said that, didn't you?
Yeah.
So we're
quit
good.
parroting me. The Rabia
We're
Chaudhry
good.
episode is called All in the Family.
Oh, okay.
I've got a number of stories over there, too.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much. Follow at GT2Pod on all social media.
Yep.
And also follow us.
Yep. I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I am at The Myth Traveler. So we will see you again next week for more spooky stuff to share with you. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld go we. We'll see you next time for more spooky stuff to share with you. I like it. It's funny.
That's a
That
good
should be our
sign off,
tagline.
goddammit. That's a good stuff.
Our regular tagline.
I'm
I
a
like
pro.
It. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you are.
I'm a regular. Give me a radio host.
What's his name?
Regis
Don
Philbin.
Imus?
I'm a regular Don Imus.
Yep. Wah, wah.
How's it going, everybody?